They want to discredit you for what?
Because I'm a dangerous man, because I know too much about the truth.
Now, that end-of-the-world apocalyptic garbage, you write?
You know my work? I was right about Dallas, wasn't I?
How were you right?
Are you familiar with the hantavirus, Agent Mulder?
Yeah, it was a deadly virus spread by field mice in the southwestern United States several years ago.
According to the newspaper, FEMA was called out to manage an outbreak of the hantavirus. Are you familiar with what the Federal Emergency Management Agency's real power is? FEMA allows the White House to suspend constitutional government upon declaration of a national emergency. Think about that. What is an agency with such broad sweeping power doing managing a small viral outbreak in suburban Texas?
You're saying it wasn't such a small outbreak?
No. I'm saying...
We do believe that there may be some human-to-human transmission that's happening among the really close contacts, the husband and wife, people who've shared cabins, etc. So again, our assumption is that has happened, and that's why we are operating and working with the ship to make sure that anyone who is symptomatic, anyone caring for patients is wearing full personal protective equipment. It's not just the people who are on the ship that, of course, we are concerned about. We're also working with authorities for anyone that has left the boat, the ship, I was told to say ship, that has left the ship in different ports along the cruise. The plan is, and our highest priority,
a virus most people have never heard of, yet it carries a fatality rate that can exceed 30% in severe cases. No headlines, no panic, just scattered reports and rising questions. Is this just routine monitoring, or the early signal of something being watched more closely than we're being told? What is hantavirus? Hantavirus is a group of viruses primarily spread through contact with infected rodents. In rare cases, certain strains, like the Andes variant, have been studied for limited human-to-human transmission. Severe infection can lead to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a condition that affects the lungs and heart and can become life-threatening once symptoms escalate. Recent reports from a cruise vessel have drawn attention after multiple suspected cases were identified among passengers. Health authorities have confirmed monitoring procedures, with some individuals returning home under observation. Officials continue to emphasize that overall public risk remains low. But incidents like this tend to raise a familiar question. Back in 2024, 323 deadly virus vials vanished from an Australian lab, Hendra, hantavirus, and near 100% fatal rabies.
Now, I want to stress that there have been no public health incidents linked to these materials. So we have no evidence so far of any event occurring as a result of the loss or the destruction of these materials. The department is taking all necessary steps to ensure that it does have the appropriate regulatory matters in place. It is liaising with the federal record-keeping bodies and the federal accreditation bodies, as well as with our own Department of Agriculture.
You know my work? I was right about Dallas, wasn't I?
How were you right?
Are you familiar with the hantavirus, Agent Mulder?
Yeah, it was a deadly virus spread by field mice in the southwestern United States several years ago.
According to the newspaper, FEMA was called out to manage an outbreak of the hantavirus. Are you familiar with what the Federal Emergency Management Agency's real power is? FEMA allows the White House to suspend constitutional government upon declaration of a national emergency.
The cruise ship outbreak is setting the table for the next big one. The World Health Organization announces that you will most likely see more cases of hantavirus reported in the next few weeks. The World Health Organization says this is why international health regulations must exist. While this is a serious incident, WHO assesses the public risk as low. And the craziest thing out of all of this hantavirus being mentioned on the X-Files sounds like classic predictive programming from the CIA. They have had their hands in Hollywood since the beginning with their social engineering tactics.